10 מתנגדים, נוכח אחד. אני קובע כי מניעת פגיעת גוף שידורים זר בביטחון המדינה הוראת שעה חרבות ברזל התשפ"ד 2024 התקבלה בקריאה השנייה והשלישית ותיכנס לספר החוקים.
Oh, hello everybody. Happy Easter Monday. So, as you know, I can confirm that there is a virtual meeting happening today with both U.S. officials, Israeli officials, to discuss Rafah, the situation in Rafah, and obviously the next steps that we have been hearing that the Israeli government wants to take. This is following the discussions that we all talked about last week with the Israeli Minister of Defense and his delegation, and this conversation today is being led by National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Look, I think it's important to note that we were able to reschedule this on Friday, and we wanted to move very quickly on this. And today, the meeting is happening virtually because we understand, and obviously you all understand, how important it is to have this conversation. We've been very clear about our concerns about a military operation into Rafah. We know that there are more than 1 million Palestinians who are in Rafah right now, who moved from the north to go into Rafah. And so we want to make sure if there is going to be a military operation, we also know that there are Hamas operators in Rafah as well. But if they're going to move forward with a military operations, we have to have this conversation. We have to understand how they're going to move forward. And I'll say one more thing. When Jake Sullivan was here at the podium, there are alternative ways of doing this, alternative ways of going after Hamas. And so they're going to have the discussion. I think it's important that it happen as quickly as it did, even though it's virtual, and we'll certainly have more to share.
The Israelis bombed Iran's consulate building in Damascus today, apparently killed an Iranian military commander. Did you know about this in advance? Are you concerned this is an escalation?
So look, I'm aware of the reports. Our team is looking into it, so I'm not going to get ahead of anything just yet. But obviously we're aware of the reports and our team is looking into it. I'm just not going to go beyond that.
The Israeli Knesset, the parliament, just passed a law banning international media from working in Israel. You always call Israel as an ally that you share value with. Is this a value that you share with?
So as it relates to, and I think you're speaking specifically, at least the reports that we've seen is about Al Jazeera specifically, but it doesn't matter, whichever, right, journalist more broadly. But to those particular report, we've seen the reports, and certainly I'm going to refer to Israel for what they may or may not be considering. But if it is true, a move like this is concerning. We believe in the freedom of the press. It is critical. It is critically important, and the United States supports the critically important work journalists around the world do. And that includes those who are reporting in the conflict in Gaza. So we believe that work is important, the freedom of the press is important, and if those reports are true, it is concerning to us. And I think that's what is the focus here right now, is to make sure that we have the funding.
Al Jazeera offices inside Israel. I'm just wondering if you have a comment on that.
So we support the independent free press anywhere in the world, and we think the work that the independent free press does is important everywhere in the world. And much of what we know about what has happened in Gaza is because of reporters who are there doing their jobs, including reporters from Al Jazeera. I'll say, just with respect to Al Jazeera, obviously, I think it's well known that we've not always agreed with all of Al Jazeera's coverage, but it's a media organization that we engage with. I've done interviews with Al Jazeera. Other people from the department have done interviews with Al Jazeera. So what we will continue to make clear is that we support the work that the Free Press does.
Our assessment with that passage of this law and previous incidents to our crew in Gaza, that this enhanced our suspicion from the beginning that our crews were actually targeted, not by mistake or by. Does this trouble you that a media organization just becomes the target of the Israel and become part of the targets in this war?
So with respect to targeting, I mean targeting in a sense, not through a law passed by the Knesset, but I think with respect to potential military targeting, Israel has said very clearly that that's not what they have done. Obviously, that would be incredibly inappropriate. You've heard the Secretary speak to this, that it is tragic how many journalists have lost their life in this war, because as I just spoke to a minute ago, they put their own lives at risk in bringing us information about what's happening inside Gaza, and it's important that we continue to get that information. And so we support the work that journalists do in Gaza. We support the work that they do around the world.